now show you a live picture there where we're seeing a debate on the floor. Some of it has to do with, whoops, wrong picture, there you go. Some of it has to do with the vote that is scheduled in just a little more than an hour on Don't Ask, Don't Tell and the repeal. It is expected to pass. We've seen a procedural vote this morning that passed by a vote of 63 to 33. Some of this is also about the START treaty, which the Senate Majority Leader is hoping to tackle this weekend. Let's bring in the political panel now. And Robert Trainum is D.C. Bureau Chief for Comcast. Goldie Taylor is a contributor to thegrio.com. Let's begin with the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I mean, there was a point this political season, Goldie, where it looked like the issue was done. If they weren't going to pass it in the defense authorization bill, it wasn't going to pass. How surprised are you to see it in the, perhaps what's the last day or the final few days of the lame duck session to see this thing moving toward passage?
I'm absolutely stunned and absolutely pleased. If we had, just let it die earlier in the session, we certainly would have been on the wrong side of history. And so it's a great thing to see that, somebody decided to stand up and fight until the bitter end, really. Because if we hadn't done it in this lame duck session, we don't know when the repeal might have happened.
Here's a response that's coming in from one of the Twitter followers, Wahoo PhD, who says, "Today I'm slightly more equal. I will bask in the small sliver of equality, yet continue fighting for full civil rights." You served in the military. Can you put into perspective what the ban on being open and true meant to service people?
I served prior to Don't Ask, Don't Tell during the first Bush administration, and I just have to tell you that there were absolute witch hunts going on during that time. There were military trials, there were court-martials happening to people who were found out to be gay or lesbian, and they were court-martialed, sent home, and stripped of their military benefits, and that was absolutely the wrong thing to do. But it was doubly wrong to pass a law to make them hide who they were. I have a nephew who served in the military some years later, who served as a military nurse. He was constantly hazed, constantly harassed because, it was found out that he was gay. And so at the end of the day, I believe, and I know that my brothers and sisters in arms believe, that people have the right to live, to love and to serve.
Robert, we're looking forward to 3 o'clock when this final vote on the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell happens. The House has already passed it. The president has promised to sign it. It is something that he campaigned on. How surprised are you that it didn't get through as part of a bill to fund troop operations, but did get through on a standalone piece of legislation?
I'm a little surprised by that. I worked in the Senate for 10 years under a Republican administration, and, truth be told, it really wasn't a high priority then. And then thus in the process, you had John McCain, obviously the 2008 Republican nominee, who tried to stonewall this throughout the process by hiding behind, I should say, the Joint Chiefs and hiding behind, various pieces of legislation and so forth. So this is an historic day. This finally ends, arguably one of the biggest contradictions in American history, and that is that, folks that are sworn to uphold the Constitution, folks that are sworn to tell the truth, yet thus in the process have to lie about who they are. This ends a 17-year ban, and thank goodness that this day has finally come, and thank goodness that no more than 14,000 people have to be honorably discharged. I don't know if you know that or not, but 14,000 people since this ban has been in place has been either honorably or dishonorably discharged just because of loving whomever they choose to love.
And being honest about it, or having someone out them even if they weren't willing to be outed. We just saw there live Senator Kerry at the podium. I wanted to mention that he's already sent out a statement today saying, quote, "No longer will we turn away patriotic gay Americans who are willing to die for our country. The military has spoken, and now at last the Senate has acted. Finally, the Senate listened to the Pentagon, the troops on the ground, and even the architects of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, General Powell, Senator Nunn, who said a change in policy will do nothing to affect unit cohesion or their ability to carry out their mission." I mean, here's a guy, Senator Kerry, who was, of course, first came to the national spotlight following his service in Vietnam and has been an outspoken proponent of repealing this ban on people being true. I got to ask you, Robert, what about the START treaty? Do you anticipate